exercisesforcore.com. I'm here right now about to demonstrate a really great outer hip and thigh toning exercise. It's great for building strength in the hip socket to avoid any injury there. Plus it's really great for strengthening and toning and leaning out these areas, which tend to be trouble areas for some of us. It's a really concentrated exercise, so you don't have to do too much of it. You're definitely going to feel it. And even though it is a lower body exercise, it relies a lot on core strength and stability, which is actually why I'm up against a wall right now. So to start and begin this practice and this particular exercise, it's really helpful to have a wall so that you can maintain your form while you're going through the movement. The wall is kind of there. You think it might support you, but it actually in some senses can make the exercise a little bit more challenging. So let's go ahead and try it out. I'm going to start laying down along the back edge of the mat up against the wall, and I'm actually going to reach my bottom arm up and rest my head on it. And right now what I'm focusing on is pressing my bottom hip back into the wall and my bottom shoulder back into the wall. More often we have a tendency to keep our bottom and our bottom shoulder and our bottom hip away from the wall and kind of lean back into it. But in order to maintain really great posture, we want our hips stacked one on top of the other, not rocking back and forth. I'm going to focus on pressing the bottom shoulder and the bottom hip down first, and then press the top shoulder and the top hip in. You can see my knees are bent to about 45 degrees, but I'm actually going to extend them out to the front corner, the front far corner of the mat, and once again, they're stacked one on top of the other. I'm going to keep my top fingertips in front of my belly, just resting lightly kind of in a tent, but I'm going to pay very close attention because my fingertips are here. I might have a tendency to want to roll forward and press weight into them, but I'm really going to focus on rolling that top shoulder back, gluing it to the wall, and keeping my neck nice and long. Now I'm going to take an inhale, exhale, really feel my ribcage pull in tight, and in addition to pressing the bottom and the top hip and the bottom and the top shoulder into the wall, I want to try to press my back into the wall also as much as possible. It's really going to help me engage my abs, and the entire purpose of this upper body setup is to stabilize the hips, so we're isolating the movement into the outer hip and the outer thigh, and really targeting these muscles to create the movement. That's how you get such a really good, targeted, concentrated, effective workout. And that's also how you avoid neck strain and low back strain. So really focus on getting your form down, form first, and then increase repetitions and range of motion. So we're looking for quality here, not quantity. Take it easy, work at your own pace. You're definitely going to feel it. So my fingertips are resting lightly, my head is relaxed. It's almost like I'm going to be just relaxing here and stretching. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my bottom leg level to the hip, knees straight, toe pointed. I'm going to turn it out slightly. So just by doing that, turning my knee and my toe at about a 45-degree angle to the ceiling, I'm already engaging my outer hip and thigh and really setting up for a strong, concentrated exercise. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Pressing the bottom hip. Don't let it roll away. Don't roll into the top shoulder. If you need to lift up just halfway, a quarter of the way, however far you can get before you start to feel like you're going to rock back and forth on that bottom hip and shoulder, that's the place you need to be. Remember, we're working on concentration and control. Keep that belly pulled in tight. Do two more like this. Lift and lower. And lift and lower. This time you're going to keep the toe pointed on the way up and then flex the foot. Press through the heel to pull it down. Point up. Flex down. Belly pulling in tight. Keep the neck nice and long. Another reason that my head is resting on my arm right now is so that I can focus on keeping my spine in a nice straight line instead of sinking into the side and creating a curve as I lift my leg. Focus on maintaining a little bit of space or a little bit less pressure underneath that lower side of the rib cage. So keep that in mind, that as you're moving you don't want to sink down, because then you're really working into your side and your obliques. You're not getting good concentrated work into the outer hip and thigh, and you're also just not engaging your core, so it completely takes that out and changes the exercise. Alright, flex down and hold it. Now we're going to flex up and point down. So not only are we working the upper leg, the outer hip and thigh, but now we're involving the lower leg, the calf. And point down, belly pulled in tight. Keep the neck relaxed. Keep both hips and shoulders pressing into the wall. Point down, and flex up. Point down. Keep that upper leg rotated out just slightly. One more. Flex up. Point it down. Hold it here. We're going to rotate the toe to face forward. If you want to, a little bit more support is going to be bending that bottom knee under. You can bring the bottom of the foot up against the wall also. We're going to hold the leg level to the hip. Flex it. Inhale to flex up. Really watch that top hip. Make sure it doesn't come away from the wall. Point the toe to bring it back. And flex up. Ooh, pop. Point back. Try to keep the leg level to the hip the whole time. Slow, controlled movement. Neck is still nice and long. Belly pulled in tight, especially as the leg comes forward. Point it back. Flex up. Point back. One more. Flex up. Point back and hold it. And relax. Now save your stretching. Wait just a minute. Let's finish it up on the other side. Might as well get it out of the way. So we're going to line up along the back edge of the wall and the back edge of our mat. Pressing the bottom hip, bottom shoulder, stretching that top or the bottom arm out long and resting our heads. Taking the feet to the front corner of the mat. Fingertips are going to rest lightly in front of the belly. Remember, top shoulder stays pressing against the wall. Neck is nice and long. Working leg is the top leg, so it comes level to the hip. And I can already feel this bottom, this leg that was on the bottom before has already gotten a little bit of a workout just from stabilizing, helping to stabilize. So it's already warmed up, ready to go. Rotate out just slightly. Remember to keep light pressure on the fingertips and really keep the belly pulled in tight. Try to press the back into the wall. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. So we'll just start out with a basic lift and lower. Feeling it out, trying to keep that bottom leg fairly relaxed. Pressing top and bottom shoulder into the wall. Work within your own range of motion that you have control in, and it might be different on both sides, but make sure you use the same amount of control. Now you see why the wall is so quote-unquote helpful. Also, if you start to get comfortable with this exercise and you're building strength, you can make the challenge a little bit more intense by bringing your fingertips behind your ears and keeping the leg moving. But really, that takes away any additional support other than your core that you have. So this time we're going to point up and flex down. Point up, flex down, point up, belly pulled in tight. So you're still getting ab work. Remember, if you're choosing to keep those fingertips on the floor, keep the top shoulder pressing against the wall. And now let's reverse it. Flex up and point down. Keep a little bit less pressure on that bottom side of the rib cage, especially as you start to lift that top leg. Flex up, point down, flex up, and remember to breathe and smile. Flex up, point down, flex up, point down and hold it. So remember, keep the top leg level to the hip. You can bend the bottom knee under if you want a little bit more support. Fingertips either resting in front of the belly on the mat or behind the ears. And we're going to flex that foot forward and point it back. And flex forward and point it back. And flex forward, point it back. The alternative to having that bottom leg bent is to keep it at the front corner of the mat, so you can try that. And point back, keeping the top leg level to the hip. Flex up, point back. A lot to think about when you're going through these tiny movements. Let's do two more. Flex up, point back. One more. Flex up, point back, and relax. Now it's time to sit it up and stretch it out. A really great stretch for this is going to be bending either both legs, or you can keep your bottom leg extended, bending your top knee, bringing it across the bottom knee, and giving it a hug. And then when you're ready, switch it out. So remember, you can keep that bottom leg extended if it's more comfortable for you. Cross that top leg over. Give it a hug. Relief. And then relax. So like I said, that's a really great, concentrated, extremely effective, just try it once and you'll see, extremely effective outer hip and thigh toning workout. It also gives you really great abdominal endurance workout because you're keeping your core pulled in tight the entire time. The first few times that you're trying this exercise, I would really recommend trying it against the wall. Remember, both hips and shoulders are pressed against the wall the entire time, also trying to press your back into the wall. And then eventually, you can work up to pulling your mat into the middle of the room and trying to maintain that balance and that form just on your own without the wall there to support you, which can be a little bit more challenging, or it can be easier if you just let your form go. Then it makes everything a little bit simpler, but then again, we don't get the effect of the exercise that we want. So give that one a try. Try to work about 6 repetitions or 6 movements in each one of the different variations. So just start with your regular legs softly pointed 6 times, and then flex up and point down 6 times, and then flex down and point up 6 times. Rest when you need to, but when you start to feel the burn, try to press through just a few more repetitions. And then if you feel so inclined, you can move on to the flex forward and point back about 6 times. But remember, it's more important to keep your form, so if you feel like your muscles are getting fatigued, just work to the point where you can really feel like you've gotten a good workout and you're still maintaining good form, and then you'll start to build strength in proper alignment. So yeah, give that one a shot. Hope you like it. Don't hate me, and we'll see you next time.